Well, good morning. It might be cloudy, but man, it feels nice and warm outside today, huh? Or warmer than what we've had. So we're so thankful that you came to join us for our 9:30 service. Would you stand as you're able as we start in worship? Brother, lay your head down. Sister, don't you know? Ain't no rest in worry. Troubles come, troubles go. I have seen the sparrow. I have watched her fly. No, she does not worry. Tell me, why should I? So hold on, love. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. I know it's hard. Hold on, love. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. I know they are. Do 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 do. I have seen the lily dancing with the wind, open to the sunshine, open to the rain, dressed in all her beauty, giving what she needs. If I listen closely, I can hear her sing to me. Hold on, love, things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better, I know they are. Hold on, love, things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better, I know they are. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. I know it's hard. Hold on, love. Things are gonna get better. Things are gonna get better. I know they are. Take a seat.
Well, good morning. It is so good to be with you on this. This is still beautiful, right? It's overcast, but the temperature is good. It is still a beautiful morning to be with you. Regardless of what's going on out there, it's beautiful in here to be with you. My name is Jeremy. If we haven't met, I'm one of the pastors here at The Grove. And we are a church that exists to grow goodness. And so my hope is that you're being here in the warmth of this room today, you're watching us online, you're somehow interacting with us out in the community throughout the week is nurturing healing, wholeness, and beauty in your life. As we get started, just want to turn your attention to some logistical things. As you came in, hopefully you got one of these, our worship handout for today. For those of you who are new with us, or newish even, as you open it up on the left-hand side, it has some of the most important information to know about the church, how we got started, what our values are. If you are brand new with us, there's actually an opportunity for you to start a conversation with us simply by texting hello to this number or scanning this QR code, and then that kicks off a conversation back and forth between yourself and the church. We also have our Wi-Fi information in case that's an important thing for you today. We do provide you with that. Then on the right-hand side, we have information about kids in worship. We love children here at The Grove. We don't just say it, we mean it. They are vital members of this community, so we try to make sure that that is their felt reality. Kids are welcome in the worship center throughout the service, no matter the age. We have activities in the backs of the chairs. We have our wiggle space over here in case they need to get up and move their bodies because they're kids. We have books in the back as well. And then, of course, we have programming as well for birth through fifth grade. So for birth through age 3, we have our Grove Nursery, which is right outside in the Commons area. You can check them in there, and then you get a pager in case we need to be in touch with you at any point during the service. And then Grove Kids is for ages 4 through 5th grade. In a few minutes, we will sing them out to their play-based, age-appropriate programming. The one thing that we ask is if they're going to either of those places for the first time, you fill out a registration. You can either do that by scanning the big QR code up there, the one on the right-hand side here, or by filling out one of these paper forms, which are available on the back table. Also on the inside, there is an insert. This is another opportunity for you to let us know that you're here with us today, to update your contact information, or to request information about things that you might be curious about. So on the front, there is a place for you to put your name, your contact information, so if you want us to follow up with you, we can actually follow up with you. Then on the back, there's a few different check boxes. The first one at the top is this week's top opportunity, and this is actually the same one as last week, because beginning on Wednesday, I am going to be leading a book study on the book of Revelation. We're going to be following this book, Revelation for Normal People, a guide to the strangest and most dangerous book in the Bible. If any of you ever read Revelation or tried to read Revelation, super weird, right? Super cryptic, hard to understand. The goal of this study is to say, this is super weird and hard to understand, and it's understandable if we kind of know where it's coming from and how to read it well. So there's an opportunity to participate in this study in 2 different forms. You can do so in the mornings, Wednesday mornings, in person in Woodbury. That works for some people. That doesn't work for a lot of other people, though. And so there's also an opportunity to do so on Zoom in the evenings on Wednesday. So if you are curious in either of those options, you can check that box on the back, this week's top opportunity, and I will send you the information for you to be able to connect with that study. We have people I know that are already registered from it across both locations. So in case you're wondering, are there Cottage Grove people, are there Woodbury people? Yes, there's both. There's also boxes in the back for other ministries, other activities that you might be curious in learning more about. And then as you go towards the bottom, there is a spot for prayer requests. So if there are things that you are praying about that you would like us to join you in praying about, you can share those there. Finally, as we turn to the back, we have where we usually have our announcements for the day. I'm not going to tell you to just throw this out because there is still the QR code on the bottom, which brings you the link tree with all of the most up-to-date stuff. However, this is older stuff that we talked about last week for Easter Sunday. We have 2 other announcements, though, that I'll bring them up on screen here to kind of have you be aware of, to get on your calendar and to be planning for. Hopefully, at least some of you will be able to participate in these. First of all, on Saturday, not October, please not October 25th, April 25th. On April 25th, we are going to be doing an outside work day here at the Grove. We're going to have as many people as possible be outside in the Grove getting things ready for spring. One of those activities is we're going to be moving our outdoor stage so that you all have some shade coverage during outdoor worship. You're welcome. But that's going to require some work from us to be able to remove the boards, separate the sections, and then drag it, 50 feet, something like that. So that's one of the activities. There will be other stick cleanup and raking and things. So if you are available on Saturday, April 25th, we hope you'll join us for that. We'll be sharing more details and timing and stuff in the next week or so, but wanted to get that on your radar and on your calendar. And then the second one to get on your radar is on May 17th, we are going to be having 2 annual gatherings across both locations at the Grove that are going to function kind of like an annual meeting, sharing some details from the leadership, things that you need to know that we all kind of need to be on the same page on, things that we're going to be focusing on as a church in the year ahead. But you have 2 options on that day for how you want to participate. In Woodbury, there's going to be a stakeholder meeting, which is going to sound like you sitting around tables and chatting about details. And if that is something you're interested in, great. We're going to direct your attention towards something that you might be more interested in, which is the tailgate picnic, which is going to be happening here following our 11 o'clock service. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful day. We'll go out into the Grove, share some food together, have, again, some conversation about things that are happening at the Grove that you need to be aware of and that we're going to be working all together towards. Again, just want that to get on your radar, to get on your calendar, and if you are willing to bring food to share, for you to be thinking about things that you might be able to or want to bring to share. All right, that is it for announcements. So with that, we are going to move into Connection Point. Just a reminder, Connection Point is this weekly thing that requires you to do a little bit of forced interaction. It's a really important thing that we found, and it can be an anxiety-producing thing for you to talk to people, especially people that you don't know. So we at least give you one question besides your name to be able to go into this conversation with. So today's question, because it's been spring technically for a few weeks, it's starting to feel like spring. What are you most looking forward to this spring? You can answer that however you would like, or you can talk about whatever else you'd like, but we at least give you this as a prompt. So why don't you stand up, find someone you don't know or don't know very well, share your name, discuss what you're looking forward to in spring, and then we'll circle back up in a few minutes.
precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. Every color, shape, and type, they are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world.
So we are doing something a little bit different today. Those of you who have been in church previous to this won't be too unfamiliar. And I know that actually some folks who are very familiar with church have come in our midst and have been like, why don't you do this thing? Well, now we are going to start trying to do something. We are going to take time every week for the foreseeable future, maybe ever, and rather than just having a small little offering announcement, we're going to do a little bit of passing of the plates. You ever passed the plates before? This is an opportunity, though, not just for us to hand a thing around the room, but for us to emphasize the importance of giving and its function, not only for the church, but for us as individual followers of Jesus. One of the ways that we best respond to the goodness that is growing in and through us is to give. And we like to remind you as well, this is only made possible. It only exists for us, and it's only going to continue to exist for the people who are not yet here because of the generosity of folks like you. So in a few moments, we are going to have our hospitality folks. They're not ushers. They're our hospitality folks come around, and we're trying to figure out how to do this in a way that feels natural to us as a church community. So we're not going to pass these big metal plates that are very familiar to some of you. We're not even going to pass baskets. What we're going to try to pass are pots. Because we're the Grove. We grow things, right? So we have these little brown pots that we're going to hand through. Is it going to work? I don't know. We'll find out. But Andrea had that idea, and it seemed to fit with us. So we're going to be handing pots around. And if you have a physical offering that you're interested in dropping in the pots, now would be the time to do it. Otherwise, this is a chance for you to put your insert in as well. If you have a physical offering to give, obviously, that's not something for you to worry about. You don't need to feel any obligation, but you can put your worship insert in there as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, and there are, just as a reminder, there are other options for you to give as well. So we have online giving, which you can set up, and even set up recurring giving if you go to that middle QR code. And then on the right, there, you can give via Venmo, which has proven to be a really convenient option for folks, especially as they just start to get into the rhythm of giving. So with that, we'll get some music and pass the pots.
Oh God of life, all that is good is you. All that delights is you. All that gives life is you. Everything that grows, come on, everything that knows, come on, and join in the song of life. Oh God of life, we praise you. Oh God of life, we raise a song to you in gratitude. Oh God of life, we worship. Oh God of life, we turn our hearts to you in gratitude. Oh God of life, all that the earth sings you, creation it rings with you. New life it springs from you. Oh God of life, you celebrate it all. With great joy you made it all. With love you sustain it all. Come on, everything that grows. Come on, everything that knows. Come on, and join in the song of life. Oh Would you stand as you're able as we continue in song? That song will probably be one that we utilize every week then during offering, at least a portion of it. So now you've got a taste of it. You can learn it for future weeks too. Trouble I've been feeling tries to weigh me down. Wish I could break through that ceiling, find my way out when I can't catch my breath and there's nothing left to hold on to. I'm holding on to you. The sun is gonna rise once again. Your promise is the hope that I believe in. And all this trouble I've been feeling, it won't weigh me down. I'm gonna break through that ceiling, find my way out when I can't catch my breath and there's nothing left to hold on to. I'm holding on to you, my Lord. Though my strength may fail, and though my heart is held by you, I see a new sun rising. And all this trouble I've been feeling could never keep me down, 'cause your grace is my healing. You're here with me now when I can't catch my breath and there's nothing left to hold on to. I'm holding on to you. And all this trouble I've been feeling could never keep me down, 'cause your grace is my healing. You're here with me now when I can't catch my breath and there's nothing left to hold on to. I'm holding on to you. When I can't catch my breath and there's nothing left to hold on to, I'm holding on to you. You may take a seat.
I just got chatting out there with Tammy. Thank you for your whole handling the passing of the pots thing. Like, this is a new thing for us, and I want to acknowledge, one of the reasons I wanted to get up and give an announcement about it is it's a little bit awkward. Yeah? Especially when you've never done it before. Sometimes things are done in year after year because they are just like a part of a thing, a tradition, and you just do it because you do it. And there's other times you do things because they've been proven to be effective. And so we're gonna try something new and figure out, like most churches do that type of stuff. So we're gonna figure out, even as a new church, is this something that we might find effective? So I appreciate you rolling with us. We are now post-Easter, y'all. Woohoo! We're technically still in the Easter season. It's called Eastertide, but Easter Sunday was last week. And as we move into this new season at the Grove, we are starting a new series today. You all probably know, whether you know it as our motivating vision or not, you know that the reason we exist, I say it up here every single week in announcements. We have it on the front of our worship folders. We have it on our wall. We have it on the front of our website, basically everywhere. Our motivating vision, the thing that we say we want to be about as a church, is 2 words. What? To grow goodness, yes. And then we say, well, what does it mean to grow goodness? And we have that broken down into 4 different statements where we say, we think that these are the ways that we can grow goodness. And those things are in our worship folder. They're on that left panel for new folks. We call them our values. They're also on the walls right outside the worship center here with different icons. And one of those 4 things is deepening our curiosity and sense of awe. That might seem like a very flowery type of phrase, but basically what it means is we are always exploring and we're never arriving. What it means is that we might be seeking answers or seeking a depth of knowledge, but we're asking questions not as a sign of a lack of faith, but a sign of a vibrant and expanding and resilient faith. And so asking questions is like a really good and important thing. And so we thought as we move past Easter into this Eastertide season, we would spend an entire series over, I think it's 7 weeks, tackling some questions. Maybe some of them are the biggest questions of faith. Some of them might not feel as big, but we have found that some people might find helpful. These are questions that might be burning within you that you maybe would be too afraid to ask, but they're still like there, and we want to help all of us to like wrestle with them. And so this is an overview of where we're going to be going. I'll skip the first one because that's where we're at today. Next week, we're going to talk what happens to Christians and non-Christians when they die. Does the Bible really say that? Why do bad things happen to good people and vice versa? So why do good things happen to bad people? Can I be spiritual but not religious? Is God really like that? And then on our first Sunday outdoors, when we have our Pet Blessing Sunday, we're going to tackle the question, do all dogs go to heaven? I'm most excited about that one. Just gonna throw that out there. Okay, so that's kind of where we're going, but today the question that we're gonna be tackling is this one. Do I really have to believe all this stuff? So in order to kind of take on this question, I know that we're post-Easter, but we're actually gonna go back to before the Easter story. We're going to go back to, if you were here with us for Maundy Thursday, the Thursday before Easter, when Jesus is gathered with his closest followers and shares a meal with them and gives them some final reminders, some final instructions for what's going to happen in the next 24 hours and what they're going to need to know and what they're going to need to do when he's no longer with them. Now, this story broadly appears in all 4 of the biographies that we have about the life of Jesus in our Bibles. In the Gospel according to John, though, which is the 4th and the latest one, John he's more of a poet, and he expands kind of what happens in that room, and he ends up telling the story and like filling out the conversation over the course of 5 chapters, which means almost a quarter of his whole biography about the life of Jesus happens in that room on that night. And so we get more details there than we do in the others. So we get things like Jesus washes his disciples' feet. He predicts that he's going to be betrayed. He predicts his death. And then he gives them reminders. Again, when I'm no longer with you, this is what you need to remember about who I am and what I was about, because there's going to be requirements for you in this as well. And so we pick all that up. We kind of jump into the middle of the conversation in John chapter 14. This is Jesus talking again to his closest followers. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. And you know the way to the place where I am going. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going. How can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you know me, you will know my Father also. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." Philip said to him, "Lord, show us the Father, and we will be satisfied." Jesus said to him, "Have I been with you all this time, Philip, and you still do not know me? Whoever has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me? The words that I say to you, I do not speak on my own, but the Father who dwells in me does his works. Believe in me that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, but if you do not, then believe because of the works themselves. Very truly, I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these, because I am going to the Father. I will do whatever you ask in my name so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If in my name you ask me for anything, I will do it." This is probably a familiar passage to many of you. At least a couple verses in here may be very familiar to you. Maybe some of the most quoted words of Jesus, fortunately or unfortunately. Often this story, and like the specific verses that we read, have been taken to be talking about Jesus is addressing his followers about how they get to heaven. In order to get to the Father, and the Father's in heaven, so how to get to heaven, how do you get to heaven? Through Jesus alone. Often it has been taken as you only get to heaven because of Jesus, because Jesus alone is the way, the truth, and the life. Nobody gets to heaven, nobody gets to the Father except through Jesus, the way, the truth, and the life. We're not going to talk about that part today, or at least not that take on that part today. Number one is because Laura's going to be here next week. Pastor Laura is going to be here, and the question, if you were following along, that she's going to talk about next week is what happens to Christians and non-Christians when they die. So I don't want to step on her touchdown call, first of all. And the second reason is I don't think Jesus is actually talking about how his followers will experience eternal salvation. I don't think that is what he's talking about at all. Let's set the scene again. Jesus has been with these folks for 3+ years. They've been traveling everywhere with him, listening to him, watching everything that he does. And then suddenly they are in Jerusalem. He's having this meal with them, and he's saying all this super weird stuff. He's talking about what's going to happen to him, and he's using like this cryptic language. I'm in the Father, and the Father is in me. What on earth does any of that mean? And then he talks about one of them in that room is going to betray him, and then he's going to die, and then they're going to all scatter. They're going to abandon him. And in the midst of that, he says, at the beginning of this chapter we just read from, "Don't worry, folks. I'm going to be going somewhere, but I'm going to prepare a place for you, and it's okay because you'll know where I'm going." So that's the scene, and I can imagine that his followers, as he's talking, are like shooting eyes at each other, like, what is happening? What on earth is this guy talking about? And in the midst of all that, it is Thomas who summons up the courage. Thomas is, it's kind of hard to see, but this is Thomas here. If we go back, Thomas is right here. Thomas is here, and he's like pointing his finger, like, "Excuse me, sir." Question Jesus. It is Thomas who summons up the courage amongst all of the other disciples to ask this question. And it's almost like in a sense of desperation. Jesus, we actually don't know where you're going. You're confusing us right now. And if we don't know where you're going, how on earth are we supposed to know the way? Thomas is lamenting a lack of information and knowledge about what's going on. And Jesus responds, not with more information and knowledge. He does not actually give Thomas like a step-by-step, turn-by-turn guidance. He doesn't pull out a napkin and like make the route. All right, Thomas, this is how you get to where I'm going. Jesus responds not with like consternation. He's not mad at Thomas. He's like, "Oh, Thomas, my dear Thomas, the way, the truth, the life that you are so desperately looking for, it's me. You know me, right? You trust me, right? When all of this goes down, when things get hard, what you need to know and what you need to trust is me. That's it. And if you continue to follow me, you're going to step by step be closer down the path towards God. Jesus is not overly concerned with knowledge and information and with his followers having correct beliefs. We see this across his teachings, across all four biographies that we have about the life of Jesus. He doesn't have this secret knowledge that he's constantly taking his followers back and saying, here are the list of things that you need to know, and that is how you are going to be in right relationship with God. You just got to have these list of things that you believe with absolute certainty. In the Gospel according to John, which we've been reading from, he does talk about belief, but it's not about a list of beliefs. What he is concerned with is them believing in him. And in believing in him, what he means is that they believe, that they trust that this picture of God and themselves in the world is accurate and that they are going to respond accordingly. So this is actually what we see in the early church among his earliest followers. It's imperfect. They do this imperfectly, but it is something that we see time and time again, and it's undeniable. They're filled with God's breath, and they are filled with this experience of Jesus, these memories that they have of the life and teachings of Jesus, and they lean in and they do the work that Jesus has invited them to do. You believe in me, now go and act like me. You might even do things that are even better and beyond what I have been doing. They actually go and do that. They believed in Jesus and they did the works. And so they lean in and start spreading this message of Jesus and this way of living in the world. And they start being known as the way. They start being known as Christians, which means little Christs. They believed it so seriously. They believed the life and teachings of Jesus so seriously that they lived them out. And in doing so, they became victims of their own success. Because lots and lots of people were captivated by this Jesus guy and this way of living in the world. And so as that message spread, as the movement spread, it diversified. And suddenly they had people of all sorts of racial backgrounds and ethnic backgrounds and even religious and cultural backgrounds who are coming into this mix, and they are now having to figure out, they're now constantly faced with these challenges of, these people are different than us, and they believe different things than us. What do we hold on to and what do we let go of? So they have questions about things like circumcision. Y'all think about circumcision daily and what that means for your faith? I'm guessing not. How about meat sacrificed to idols? Is this something that keeps you up at night? Yeah? Some of you? No, it's not. But these are like existential types of questions to them. As the movement diversifies, as it grows and spreads, they are forced to take a step back and say, what is it that I believe? How is that different from what others believe? Is it okay that we have difference in belief or lack of belief? And time and time again, they're like, okay, the main thing is believing in Jesus as the example of what God is like, what we are like, what the world ought to be like. And so we're going to hold that thing to be central. That's the thing. And we're going to let the other things go and not worry about having to have all of these beliefs between all of us. So as the years passed, decades, even centuries passed, there became a point where that main thing of who Jesus was and what he had come to do and what he represented, some of the leaders of the church determined, you know what, we actually need to make sure we have that thing secure. Because that's the thing that holds the whole tent up. We can have a really big tent. We can welcome lots and lots of people into this movement, but we need to make sure we have that one tent pole. Right? That we believe in Jesus. Jesus is the one who shows us what God is like and shows us how we ought to live in the world. Let's hold on to that one tent post and then make the tent really, really big. Well, suddenly people figured out that we're talking about tents. And we're talking about people who are included and excluded. And there were some people who used it as an opportunity to say, you know what, we need to defend the faith even more. We need to focus even more on different types of beliefs that are absolutely essential to this movement. And so there were more tent posts and more walls, and suddenly there's like bouncers outside to make sure only the select people are welcome in because they have the right beliefs. And suddenly this big tent starts looking something like this. And it just so happened, maybe this is a good experience for some of you. I hate camping. I would much rather have the big tent. But there are some people who enjoyed this. And it just so happened to be the people who were already inside the tent who were dictating what beliefs were necessary to come in. And those beliefs just so happened to align with the ones that they already had, right? This is a problematic worldview. It's a problematic worldview when you say you have to have this list of beliefs that completely align with mine, or it's going to have an impact on your afterlife. It is an even more problematic worldview when you say you have to have this absolute list of beliefs that align with mine in this life. Because if you don't, what would you not do? If like this is absolutely essential, what would you not do? And it has led people, Christians and otherwise, across the centuries to kill other people simply around differences in beliefs. Even Christians killing Christians. Again, this is insane. But if you hold the idea that you have to have 100% certainty in this list of beliefs, what would you not do to make sure that that was the case, even and especially amongst other Christians? This certainly cannot be what Jesus was talking about when he said the way, the truth, and the life. This can't be the way, the truth, and the life that Jesus was inviting his followers into. So acknowledging all of that, coming back to today's question, do I really have to believe all of this stuff? Here's my answer. No. No. No, you certainly do not have to believe all of these things. And one of the reasons I'm convinced of that is because I don't think belief was ever the main point. I don't think belief in a list of things about all of this stuff, I don't think belief was ever the main point. Believing was never the most important thing. It was never as important as becoming. Believing Jesus or believing these things about Jesus, it was always meant to be a catalyst for how to actually follow Jesus in the world. One of the ways that I have found this to be, one of the things that I found to be most helpful in kind of displaying the difference in these worldviews and the ways of understanding faith comes from a guy named Dr. Paul Hebert. He was a missionologist. And he talked about the difference between a bounded set versus a centered set. Any of you heard of this before? I've talked about this before. Clearly you weren't listening to me. This was probably like back in 2022, 4 years. I'll give you a little bit of grace. So Dr. Hebert talked about the difference between a bounded set versus a centered set. So there are lots of folks, when it comes to faith, that find themselves viewing the world and faith in this bounded set, where there are clearly people who are in and there are people who are out. And there is this boundary that separates the people who are in from those who are out. That boundary can maybe be like, these are the practices. Once you do this practice, then you get included. It's often, however, around beliefs. Well, once you believe these types of things, then you're in the in-group, as opposed to all of those who are on the outside. If we're talking about tents, we have this tent. It's pretty small, but here's how you get in. Here's how you get past the bouncer. So that's one way of seeing things. The other one is a centered set. The centered set, and this centered way of viewing faith, there's not people who are in or there's people who are out. It is about orientation. It is about evaluating the ways that we are living and moving and having our being in the world and saying, is this closer to God? To what God would have for us? Is this closer to Jesus and the way that Jesus would have us live in the world, or further away? And so you can see the arrows pointing towards the middle or pointing away from the middle. Maybe this whole following Jesus thing was not just about belief, but it's about actually following Jesus. Unsuccessfully, humbly, but like actually doing the thing of focusing on Jesus, believing in Jesus, and then trying to do the acts that Jesus was about. Which brings me back to Thomas. Many of you might know Thomas from this picture. I actually showed this picture last week during my Easter sermon. This is Doubting Thomas, as he has come to be known over the last 2 centuries. This is the Thomas who, in the story we just read from, was the one who acknowledged that he doubted this, and he doubted knowing where Jesus was going, right? In addition, Thomas is known as Doubting Thomas because in the Gospel according to John, Thomas, after the resurrection, says, I'm not going to believe any of this until I can see his wounds. This is how Thomas gets remembered. Like taking a super close look. I'm only going to believe if I can see through that hole in his side. There is, however, another story about Thomas that happens 3 chapters before the one that we just read. And I wish it were a story that got told more often for Thomas's benefit and Thomas's reputation, but also for those of us who are trying to live out this following Jesus thing now. Jesus was on his way back to the region of Judea, which is near Jerusalem. And his followers were increasingly concerned about what that was going to mean for him. He had been stirring up some trouble when he was there before, and they were convinced if he went back there, he was going to get himself into more trouble and maybe even get himself killed. They're like, dude, you need to not go there. All of them were against this plan, except for Thomas. Thomas, who was called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, let us also go that we may die with him. So to reiterate, the disciple infamous for struggling with his faith, for struggling most to believe, was the one who encouraged his fellow disciples to put their lives on the line. What happens after the resurrection, after he has that interaction where he's looking in the wounds and trying to prove things, he has that amount of doubt, is that Thomas goes to India. He becomes a missionary to India, telling people about Jesus and telling people about this dream that Jesus has for the world. And eventually, while he's there, he does end up dying, just like Jesus. Friends, belief has never been and should never be coming before becoming. Becoming is more important than belief. Now, there's lots of variety in belief, even in the Christian church, even in the Grove. Even as we sit here and say, we have this motivating vision to grow goodness, we have these values, there is a wide variety of belief. There are differences and disagreements and doubts that happen in this place and amongst us. And when those things arise, disagreements and differences and doubts, one of the most helpful things that we can do is really lean into this phrase which has been handed down through our faith tradition. In essentials, unity. In non-essentials, liberty. And in all things, charity. In other words, be easy on yourself. Be easy on other people. Remember how gentle Jesus was with Thomas. Why would he treat you any differently? And why would you treat anyone else differently? May that be so.
Would you stand as you're able? promises he's made. Come all ye heavy laden, come here and find your rest. Come and lay your head upon his chest. Wait upon the Lord to give you strength. Wait upon the Lord to give you strength. He will carry all the weight. Trade your worry for his grace. His yoke is easy, his burden light. Lift your head up, lift your eyes. Wait upon the Lord to give you strength. 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 Wait upon the Lord to give you strength.
Couple reminders before we go. I don't think I put the slides in, Nick, but April 25th, we are doing the cleanup day. So if you are able to join us for that day in any capacity, we'll have lots of different things for kids through adults to be able to do in order to get our outdoor space ready for the spring and the summer. Thank you, Nick. And then the second one is our annual gatherings happening on May 17th, immediately after our 11 o'clock worship. You're welcome to attend either one of them. I'm guessing the Cottage Grove tailgate picnic is more of interest to you. So if you can plan for that day, hanging out a little bit afterwards to be able to share some time with one another, that would be fantastic. Once again, it's so good to be with you today. It is a beautiful day. We're going to send you out into this beautiful day. But as you are able, have you extend your hands to receive this blessing as we go. As we go, may we be like Thomas. Seriously, may we be like Thomas, not caught up in belief or lack of belief, but leaning in to the acts that will actually grow goodness. May that be so. Amen.